We're looking today at Psalm 141. This is another of those Psalms where David is concerned about the actions of evildoers, the wicked, and seeking protection from them. But not as in several of those where he's under physical attack in some war or civil war or something. Here, his concern is that he might be led astray by the wicked, by his contact with them, his friendship with them, his simply living among people who are not right with God, that David himself might be led astray. He's no fool. He knows that he, like anyone else, can fall into sin. Whether this was written before or after the disastrous episode of Bathsheba and Uriah, we don't know. But David knows that he's a sinner and he has the potential to be a sinner. And here, what he is concerned about initially, and it moves on a bit, is the purity of his prayers, and that he is able to pray without hypocrisy, to pray to God from a pure heart and a pure life. Let's get into it. The first two verses, Psalm 141. I call upon you, O Lord, come quickly to me. Give ear to my voice when I call to you. Let my prayer be counted as incense before you, and the lifting up of my hands as an evening sacrifice. So it could be a prayer in the evening, but he's wanting his prayer to be counted as incense before God, sometimes described in the Bible as a sweet savor before God. He's wanting his prayer to be the sort of prayer that God enjoys and likes to listen to. Give ear to my voice when I call to you. He wants his praying to be right before God. Well, what's the problem with that? Verse 3 and 4. Set a guard over my mouth, O Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Do not turn my heart to any evil, to busy myself with wicked deeds in company with those who work iniquity. Do not let me eat of their delicacies. In the old version, they're dainties. Rather lovely picture of sweet treats on a plate before or after the meal, or the finest cuts of meat, whatever the delicacies, the dainties. Don't let me eat of them. He's very conscious that his mouth needs to be guarded and his heart needs to be guarded, and his hands, his deeds need to be guarded, because he knows his potential for sin, and he knows he lives among evildoers. He knows he lives among those who are perhaps less committed to purity before God than he is. And he knows that by close company with them, he could become like them. By acting and behaving and speaking as the ungodly do, a godly person can become ungodly. And he doesn't want that. He doesn't want his prayers to be impure because they come from an impure life. He doesn't want to be a hypocrite in his praying. And the psalm is really about how he can approach God in prayer. And he's quite worried that he might be led astray, almost inadvertently, almost subconsciously, by those with whom he associates. So he's asking God to protect him, not to fall into their habits of bad speech or bad thinking or bad behavior. And even if that means he can't enjoy some of the pleasures of human company, the dainties, the delicacies to eat, he's willing to forego those in order to stay pure before God. We come to a middle section where The translation is very, very difficult. There are some obscure Hebrew words and turns of phrase here, and no two translations are alike, and we can't get it exactly right, but the gist is clear. Verse 5 is okay, but 6 and 7 are really hard to translate accurately. Verses 5 to 7. Let the righteous strike me, let the faithful correct me. Never let the oil of the wicked anoint my head, for my prayer is continually against their wicked deeds. He doesn't want to be polluted by evil in any way, not even anointed and honored as king by those who are evil, because it seeps in. And verse 6, when they're given over to those who shall condemn them, then they shall learn that my words were pleasant. Like a rock that one breaks apart and shatters on the land, so shall their bones be strewn at the mouth of Sheol. Clearly, there's a picture of judgment there, and there's a picture that the evil will one day discover that good was better than evil, and that David's plea for purity was a better thing than the pleasures of wickedness. They will discover this. Verse 8, getting back to where he wants to be. But my eyes are turned toward you, O God, my Lord. In you I seek refuge. Do not leave me defenseless. Keep me from the trap that they've laid for me and from the snares of evildoers. Let the wicked fall into their own nets while I alone escape. And he's not talking about people who do wicked and want to injure him. He's talking about people who do wicked and want him to walk in their wicked ways. So do not leave me defenseless. Let me look to you, Lord. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Keep me from the trap they've laid for me. It isn't a trap which is going to pull him into a pit and kill him. It's a trap that will drag him into sin, the snares of evildoers. He's pleading for purity. If people want to set traps and lead people into sin, may they fall into their own traps. But please, Lord, help me to escape from that. Spare me from falling into sinful or wicked ways. That's a good prayer to pray. May God guard our lips and our hearts and our hands and our feet. May God keep us in purity and away from wickedness. Amen.